Councilman Thornhill, do you agree with that?
I do. I'd like to see us utilize our membership in things like the National League of Cities, or to find, I've coined it just peer cities, but I'd like to see us take advantage of finding other communities that have already faced this crisis. As Ms. Hoppe mentioned earlier, we've been somewhat sheltered from a lot of the high swings and low downs from the economy. But I think at this point we've seen that, now we've done everything we can do to make our quality of life as good as it can be. Now we've got to make it a little bit better. We've got to look at what other communities have dealt with and take those lessons and apply them to what we can.
Mm-hmm. Reverend Lawson, I have a question for you that kind of springs out of what Councilwoman Hoppe said. In terms of training ex-offenders, you've done some work with that, and training young people who might not have a lot of job skills. Is that going to work? Training them for environmental jobs or training them for these other jobs? Is that a viable thing? And what would it take to make that work?
Sure, it's working now. I mean, we are just simply giving them job readiness training. People want to work. They want to work, and they're willing to train. They are willing to do whatever it takes to pay the bills. And we just need to do more of it. That's the problem right now, is the fact that there's just not enough training for them out there, and not enough opportunities for them to be able to turn their lives around. And that's something that I've been pushing, is to try to get more funding in that area to prevent it on the proactive end and the reactive end of have to incarcerate them or add more police officers to be able to try to keep the crime and stuff down. I think that if we can do that, we will see in the long run we done saved a lot of money.
And where would this training come from? Like, whose responsibility is it for this training to surface somehow?
It's really a partnership, and actually the city, the school board, and the county met this week, and there was a presentation in terms of working with Moberly Technical Training College and businesses to create a training program for whatever businesses we have that need workforce, or the businesses that we're trying to attract. And then another component of that is not just attracting businesses, but I've always felt that if you create a community that's vibrant and one that people want to live in, you retain young people who graduate from the university and have great ideas and start businesses also. And then they will need a workforce. So it's in that we also have a training program with the CARE program, which we have about 200 young people in high school that in the summer they have jobs with employers throughout the city and get sort of the skills and the training that they need to be employed in the future. And the city sponsors the CARE program and pays for that.
Right. How many people are involved in that?
Well, 200 in the summer, and then more in the school year, and then we've been adding regularly to that. So we may add another 20 or 30 positions.
I think we had about twice as many applicants as positions
Right.
available this year. So it would be great to be able to expand that program.
Right. Another question from one of our online viewers, is the city, going back to the economic stimulus discussion, is the city planning to use some of those stimulus funds to support perhaps homeowners who might be interested in equipping their homes with solar energy, or other programs like that, where it brings us toward the sort of green economy but are more geared toward individuals in the community rather than just creating jobs?
Well, the specific stimulus money that we have is directed towards city buildings, but we had an extensive study done by Burns and McDonald of our future energy needs, and the recommendation was to spend and direct energy towards conservation, because our housing stock, and especially our rental units, lose energy greatly. So other communities are doing more extensive loan programs. We have a lot of programs, but the participation level is extremely low. So we have to do something to get really low cost or no cost loans to people so they can really invest, and then that will create the jobs. So the council is looking at that, and that's what we'll be doing in the next several months.
Do you guys have ideas? We talk about creating jobs through the green economy, and that's been a national kind of conversation. What specifically are some of the jobs that we might see created? Like what might be a job that a person that perhaps you deal with would be doing in this future? Do you have ideas on that?
Well, right now I got a friend who came to me about that particular thing, and he's creating a business plan to do that, to start a factory that will actually manufacture solar panels, and he wanted to partner with the Youth Empowerment Zone so that the young people could be in on that as the manufacturing piece, and then also training them how to install them on the houses and the buildings and things. So that's just one thing that came to me personally. For as what the federal government have in mind, I'm waiting to see that.
Okay, I need to take a quick break here to say that this is Intersection, a program of KBIA. I'm Ruben Stern, talking with Columbia City Council members Barbara Hoppe and Jason Thornhill, and Visioning Process Commissioner Lorenzo Lawson. Our topic today is the future of your city and what you would like to see elected officials doing to move your community forward. Join the discussion by emailing your thoughts to intersection on kbia@gmail.com, or you can call us at 882-8925. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk about what a city council is capable of doing versus what the public might like the city council to do. Start with you, Councilwoman Hoppe. Again, you've been on the council now for one term and just got reelected. When you were coming into the council, what did you think you were going to be able to accomplish, and how did that compare with what you have been able to accomplish over the time that you've been in office so far?
Well, things move slowly, and you have to analyze and get all the pieces of the puzzle together. But I think we've accomplished a lot, actually, in terms, personally, we passed the mayor's climate protection agreement, which really looks at how your community is growing for the long term, for the future economic crises we will have if we don't develop sustainably. And I know the economic crisis today is going to be nothing compared to the crisis we'll face 10 or 20 years from now if we don't address the global warming situation, and every community has to do that. I was able to get the natural resources inventory off the ground, and that has a lot to do with growth management planning and making sure that we preserve the things and enhance the things that are unique about Columbia, and then make it easier, really, and put in process the pieces for development where it's most appropriate. And I think that makes us an attractive community for people not only to live here, but to bring their businesses or develop businesses here. So we've had the smoking ordinance, which I think is a really positive thing that attracts people and says we're a healthy community and a good community to live in and do business in. And there's loads. There's just so much we can do, and we've done a lot to interact with university and contract with the university's scientists for pilot programs and studying different issues, and working with the county and the school board. We've made a lot of progress in terms of questioning where a new high school will go and what are the implications for the cost to the city in terms of infrastructure and sprawl, because if we're paying for roads and sewers and lights going far out away from the city, we don't have the money to provide the police and the fire inside the city.